Here's something that might blow your mind. The same conservative senator who was once called a moist, gelatinous tubeworm by Jimmy Kimmel could actually be the key to saving the late-night host's career at Disney. Let me paint you the picture of this absolutely wild situation unfolding in Hollywood right now. Back in 2021, Jimmy Kimmel unleashed one of the most colorful insults in recent political memory, describing Texas Senator Ted Cruz as a moist, gelatinous tubeworm whose elastic band pants are filled with an inky discharge every time he speaks. You'd think that would create permanent bad blood between them, right? But here's where it gets controversial. Fast forward to today, and Cruz might actually become Kimmel's unlikely savior in his current battle with Disney. The entertainment giant suspended the popular late-night host following his controversial remarks about Charlie Kirk's alleged killer. And now, they're scrambling to find a way out of what's become a public relations nightmare. The conversations between Disney executives and Kimmel's team have been heating up. Multiple rounds of discussions took place throughout the week, with sources indicating that both sides are actively working toward a resolution. But here's the part most people miss. Disney finds itself caught in an impossible balancing act. On one side, the entertainment industry and liberal audiences are threatening a complete boycott. High-profile celebrities have already started canceling their Disney Plus and Hulu subscriptions, while others are scratching their planned family trips to Walt Disney World. The talent community has made it crystal clear. If Disney doesn't bring Kimmel back, they'll face an exodus of support that could cripple their creative partnerships for years to come. But flip the coin, and there's an equally powerful force pushing back. MAGA supporters are demanding nothing less than a full, public apology from Kimmel for his comments linking Charlie Kirk's situation to the broader conservative movement, something the comedian appears completely unwilling to deliver. If Disney caves and brings Kimmel back without that apology, they risk igniting a conservative firestorm that could make previous boycotts look like minor inconveniences. And this is where things get really interesting, and where Cruz enters as an unexpected defender of free speech principles. Speaking on his Verdict podcast, Cruz delivered what many are calling a masterclass in constitutional consistency. He compared FCC Chairman Brendan Carr's tactics to something right out of Goodfellas, warning that using government pressure to silence media voices sets a dangerous precedent that will inevitably backfire on conservatives. They will use this power, and they will use it ruthlessly, and that is dangerous, Cruz explained with remarkable foresight. It might feel good right now to threaten Jimmy Kimmel, but when it is used to silence every conservative in America, we will regret it. What makes Cruz's position particularly significant isn't just his personal history with Kimmel. Remember, despite their public feuds, Cruz actually appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live back in 2016, and even played basketball with the host in their famous Blobfish basketball classic in 2018. More importantly, Cruz chairs the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation, which directly oversees the FCC. When he speaks on media regulation, people listen. But Cruz isn't standing alone in this unexpected defense of Kimmel's right to speak freely. Former Vice President Mike Pence has publicly stated he would have preferred that the chairman of the FCC had not weighed in on the situation. That's a pretty significant rebuke from someone who's typically aligned with conservative media criticism. Even more surprising is the position taken by the Wall Street Journal's editorial board, hardly known for their liberal leanings. In a scathing opinion piece, they wrote, "The political cycle of using government to punish opponents is taking the country into dark corners that will result in less freedom and less free speech for all sides." The Journal didn't mince words about Kimmel's original comments, calling them false, callous, and stupid. But they drew a crucial distinction. But they weren't inciting violence, and in a free society, they shouldn't be cause for the government to push someone off the airwaves. Tucker Carlson, speaking just before the Kimmel controversy exploded, seemed to anticipate this exact scenario. He warned against allowing tragic events to be used by a group we now call bad actors to create a society that was the opposite of the one Charlie Kirk worked to build. It's a remarkably prescient observation about how political movements can sometimes contradict their own stated principles.
Meanwhile, Kimmel's support network has been quietly but effectively mobilizing. Adam Carolla, his former co-host on The Man Show, who's known for his conservative-leaning politics, offered a refreshingly simple take on their friendship. "I know Jimmy to be a very good guy and a generous guy. We disagree politically, but who cares? We disagree on pizza toppings as well, but it doesn't mean we don't talk."
David Letterman, who knows a thing or two about battling corporate executives during his late-night career, shared that he'd received a text from Kimmel and joked that his friend was sitting up in bed taking nourishment. Letterman's confident prediction: he's going to be fine. Bill Simmons, who worked on Jimmy Kimmel Live in its early years and remains close to the host, provided perhaps the most insightful analysis of Disney's evolving position. During a 13-minute discussion on his podcast, Simmons revealed his growing optimism about a potential resolution. "There was such a groundswell against Disney this week that I actually went from thinking there was no chance this show was going to come back," Simmons admitted. "But maybe this flips. Maybe what Disney is realizing is that at some point you've got to stand for something. At some point, you've got to stand by a person who has been one of the best people you've had for 20-plus years." What makes this entire situation so fascinating is how it's forcing everyone to confront their own principles about free speech, corporate responsibility, and government overreach. Disney executives are reportedly sensing growing optimism that they can navigate out of this crisis, though the exact terms of any resolution remain unclear. The stakes couldn't be higher for everyone involved. Kimmel is reportedly concerned about his entire staff being thrown out of work, especially so soon after the writers' and actors' strikes devastated the industry in 2023. Disney, meanwhile, faces potential business consequences regardless of which direction they choose, with major NFL partnerships and other government-regulated deals hanging in the balance. Some industry insiders believe Disney might use the conservative support for free speech principles as political cover for bringing Kimmel back, without forcing him to issue the apology that MAGA supporters are demanding. It's a risky strategy, but it might be their only path forward that doesn't completely alienate one major constituency or the other. As we head into the weekend, expect Steve Harvey's Celebrity Family Feud reruns to continue filling Kimmel's usual 11:35 p.m. time slot on ABC. But behind the scenes, the pressure is mounting for a quick resolution, one way or another. Here's what I find most thought-provoking about this entire mess. We're witnessing a moment where traditional political battle lines are being redrawn over fundamental principles of free expression. Conservative senators are defending a liberal comedian's right to make offensive jokes, while progressive activists are demanding corporate accountability that mirrors tactics they've historically criticized. So here's my question for you. In an era where political tribalism seems to rule everything, does this situation give you hope that principled positions on free speech can still transcend party lines? Or do you think these conservative voices defending Kimmel are just playing political chess, knowing they'll benefit from the precedent later? And perhaps most importantly, should corporations like Disney have the power to silence voices based on public pressure campaigns? Or does that responsibility belong solely to audiences who can choose to tune in or turn off? I'd love to hear where you stand on this. Are we witnessing a genuine defense of First Amendment principles? Or just political opportunism dressed up as constitutional consistency? Drop your thoughts below. This is exactly the kind of issue where reasonable people can completely disagree, and I'm genuinely curious to see which side of this debate resonates with you.